Alright, so today we're going to be walking up to the top of Big Rock Confetti Mountain. Now, normally there's a ski lift that gets us to the top, but as you could already guess, that's not operational. But that's okay, because that means we get to take the scenic route today. Now, it's a little cold and a little windy, so I'd make sure that you're fully prepared for this walk. But once you get to the top, it's going to be all worth it. Trust me.
Greetings from Confetti Land,
home of the Confetti Bar. I'm Jessica, founder and confetti artist.
And I'm Alexis, head of happiness. Join us here in this magical, colorful place where we
have fun,
feel feelings,
and encourage you to embrace your unique version of happiness and all of its beautiful, messy pieces.
We are so excited to have you join us.
We are so honored to have a kindred confetti spirit here in Confetti Land today. So we would like to introduce everyone to the amazing Lindsay Cadigan. She's an author, an event planner, a mom, and creator of Betty the Confetti Yeti. So we are so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us here.
Welcome.
Excited to be here with you ladies. I'm so honored that you guys invited me to be a part of this. So nice to be here.
We are honored to have you.
Yes, our fellow confetti kindred spirit.
Thank you.
So, first question for you is, what does confetti mean to you?
Oh my gosh. So confetti has meant a lot of different things to me throughout my life. I feel like it's kind of evolved and changed, as I've gotten older and as my career has changed. But really, I mean, confetti is just a whole bunch of different sort of beautiful things all mixed together. So it's kind of this chaotic, creative piece, creative art that people use in such a variety of ways. But I like confetti because I just think that it is a symbol of joy. So it's bright colors. It's something that it's almost kind of similar to like a rainbow, right? So I just think that confetti is so hopeful. It's a little messy, but I think that is just kind of how life is anyways. And it's always just been something that I've really loved and have tried to incorporate in so many different things that I'm planning or doing. And it's a lot of people know that about me as well.
Yes, well, that's obviously what we bonded over initially. So you're definitely in the right place. And I think we all have very similar sentiments about what confetti is and means. So it's very, very exciting to always have people who get it, in our opinion.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was going to just say that when I first came across the confetti bar, I was, on social media, and I was so inspired by your platform and some of the different things that you had and the products that you had. And then when I was reading your story, Jessica, and just kind of the mission and things that you guys do as a company, I was just like, I felt so compelled to just reach out and get to know you guys and all of the cool things that you do. So kindred spirits, for sure. I've been such a big fan of you guys for several years.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm so glad you reached out, and I'm so glad that we gotten to know each other over, I don't even know how long it's been now. It's been more than a year, probably.
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very exciting. So one thing we like to ask all of our visitors here is, what would currently make up the confetti mix of your life?
Let's see. So like the confetti mix of my life as it is like right now, as you had said, I mean, chaotic is like right there. So a lot of different things. I feel like I have never been more busy. I'm a mom of twin boys that are 5. So my husband and I, we live in Boston. So we're right in the heart of the city, and it's always busy, always loud, always something that's going on. So as a mom, the boys definitely keep me very busy. I work full time as the director of events for Boston Magazine. So I am working around the clock, usually on some sort of event or celebration on behalf of the publication. And then mixed in, obviously, any sort of celebratory things that I'm doing for friends and family when I get some time. So I feel like the confetti mix would be, obviously a variety of different colors, a variety of different objects, a little bit of glitter, sparkle, a lot of color. And then, obviously being the children's picture book author of Betty the Confetti Yeti, when that came out too, that was a whole other sort of element and really creative outlet that I came across. So I would say maybe a sprinkle of, I guess that's the paper of the confetti mix, right? So it's something that I absolutely love.
Perfect. Love it. I always find it so interesting because I obviously relate like everything in my life to confetti. So I always like to think of all the little pieces that make up someone's little moment in time. And it's always fun for me to hear. So thank you for indulging me.
Of course.
A little confetti time capsule, if you will.
Sure.
Awesome. Another question that we like to ask all of our guests is, what are 3 things that make you happy?
3 things that make my family. So as I said, being a mom and, viewing the world and seeing it from their perspective is just really, has just been pretty amazing. And so my boys and husband are something that makes me very, very happy. Celebrating, through my work that I'm doing, every day, and celebrating different milestones or even the small moments. I think those bring joy to so many different people in a variety of different ways. And that's just something that I really love, is just celebrating. And then meeting with students is something that has brought me a lot of new joy over the last year or so as I was meeting with different schools after my book came out. So I'm seeing students and hearing about the writing that they're doing and how they're finding different creative outlets has been awesome. So those are kind of 3 things. I'm really inspired by schools, the teachers, students, my family, and just celebrating different milestones with others is where I find a lot of joy.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely something you said too for like the idea of like childlike joy, like how a kid, sees the world and how they experience joy and seeing it, like you said, like not only with your boys, but with like kids in school. They just have like such a pure and innocent perspective on the world that I'm always really amazed when you really kind of sit back and like listen to some of the things they say or some of the things they do, and it's like, wow, like they almost have it figured out more than we do, because we tend to overcomplicate it, and it's just like, wow, it really is that simple. Like my daughter, like she wants sprinkles on her oatmeal. Cool, like yeah, we should do that. I could sit here and like, my initial reaction is like, no, you can't have sprinkles for breakfast, and it's like, wait, no, yes, we can. So I think that's really special, and I'm glad you kind of have that in various ways in your life, because I think that it's a really interesting perspective to see it from a child.
Oh, absolutely. The perspective that you get, it just keeps you so grounded, and it reminds you of, really what's important and what, we get so caught up in materialistic sort of things and what you think you need. But at the end of the day, they say different sort of phrases and things like that. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is what it's all about. So one of my boys just lost his first tooth. So this just happened. It was a huge milestone. I was not prepared whatsoever. So I thought I had at least a month, because he said, Mom, my tooth is wiggling. And I thought, okay, well, that doesn't really come out until like you're, I think 7. So I really didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden it fell out, and it was at night right before bed. And I'm like, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I'm
Operation
like,
Tooth
I'm the
Fairy.
Tooth Fairy. I'm like, okay. I said to my husband, he goes, well, what are you going to do? I go, well, I'm getting my wings tonight. I got to fly. I got to figure this out. So it was so funny. And he was so excited about it, but he was just so proud. And it was interesting because my other boy like immediately tried to make his own teeth start wiggling, because he also wanted to lose a tooth. Yeah. So but it's just, I was trying to think of all of the craziest things. Okay, how do we make this so special? I think moms especially, we put so much pressure on ourselves to like capture these moments and to make every moment so memorable, but at the end of the day, it sometimes doesn't really take that much. And it was just a card, and I threw some confetti in it and gave him $1, and it, $1 goes a long way. And he was so excited when he got that. But ultimately it like just even extended beyond that, because he then showed what he showed everybody was the missing tooth. It wasn't the dollar bill. It wasn't all the card where I drew a tooth with a face on, all the things. It was, he just wanted to show everyone that he lost his tooth. He was so excited. So it's just things like that have just been, as they've gotten older, it's been so fun.
I love that. That brings back so many memories.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Alexis has like some really good tooth fairy stories. Maybe she'll share some so you have some ideas in your back pocket for next time.
Oh my gosh, I know. It happens so fast. And, and there are so many great books and products and so many things out there now, but it happens fast. Nobody has time to get on Amazon and get something in 15 minutes. And so I had paper and a pen and an envelope and confetti. So I was like, okay, here we go.
Always have
That's
confetti.
about it.
See, that's why you always need confetti around. But
absolutely,
yes.
you never, guys. Emergency confetti should be a staple in everybody's home and purse at all times.
It's a real thing.
Agreed.
Yes.
I know Confetti Carla has had some tooth fairy moments, Alexis. Please indulge us.
She has. So my poor mom, there was a girl in my class who would talk about all the things that her tooth fairy did that then my mom had to do as my tooth fairy. One of those, we had this really fun little vessel that we would fill up with water, and the tooth fairy would come, and whatever color the water was in the morning was the color of the fairy. So the fairy like dipped her wings in. I don't really know what happened with that. Let's see. She also would print out pictures of fairies and like leave that with like maybe a little note or something. And then I don't know if I took it upon myself or whose idea this was, but I had like a little jewelry box that I would roll up like tissues for pillows with like a little hair tie, so that if the tooth fairy needed to take a little nap, they could. I would leave like a Cheerio out as if that was her donut. And then I'm telling you, every morning that I did that, whenever that was, there would be little crumbles of it. Like it was, had taken a bite out of it.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny.
Some very extra things on both me and my mom's part for the tooth fairy.
But think of those memories that you have from that, and you remember those things when you're a kid and as an adult, and they core memories right there for sure.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Now I'm just thinking about, oh my gosh, that was a very quick turnaround. I have never thought about that before. So props to all you moms. You're doing great things out there.
We're all just hanging by a thread, Alexis. That's really what's going on.
I'm impressed nonetheless.
I love it. Okay. Well, obviously we know that you're very much about celebrating all the things, but tell us a little bit more about like your history in event planning specifically, and kind of how you went down that path and sort of where you got to be where you are today on the event planning side of things.
Sure. So it's so interesting because I feel like event planning as a career has evolved and changed so much in the last 10 years. When I was in college, and I'll just say I graduated in 2007, event management wasn't even really a thing. And now there's the hospitality school and classes. So it's just really evolved into a really wonderful career. When I started working in professional sports and in sales. So my first job out of school was with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I had no business working in professional sports because I was not an athlete at all growing up. And I somehow convinced them to hire me and to give me a sales position, and worked in professional sports for about 6 years. So I worked for the Minnesota Timberwolves because I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Minnesota. And then I took a position with the Boston Bruins and moved my whole life out here when I was about 25. And met my husband when we were at the Bruins together. And while I was there, we had to start doing some events for some of our accounts. And we didn't really have an event planner on staff. And I think I like just kept putting my hand up like, oh, I can coordinate this. This would be fun. I used to plan things for my family growing up, and I would plan some events here and there at the University of North Dakota where I went to school. I would plan different things for the college. And so as I started doing more of that, I thought, oh my gosh, I really love these events. Maybe I should be a party planner. Is that a thing? Can I do that? And what I ultimately ended up doing was I left the Bruins and spent almost 10 years working for Spalding Rehab Hospital in healthcare. And I did fundraising and events. I was their director of events for a long, long time. And it was so wonderful because we would plan these large scale events, whether it was a golf tournament or a community event or a gala, and it would bring all of these people together for a mission. And it was making a significant impact on these people's lives. And so to be a part of that was really great. And you got to be really creative and thoughtful, about the story that you were sharing and how you were sharing the story of all of these people that were, I think, getting a lot of the benefits, obviously, from the fundraising that was going on. So it was a really inspiring job, and I just fell in love with the world of events. And from there, I ended up moving on and taking a position in media, and am now the director of events with Boston Magazine, and have been doing that now for almost 2 years, and plan large scale events for the publication. So we just got through the Best of Boston. So that's one of the biggest events in the city. And so the events that I produce now are, again, they're about 1,500 people plus, and bring together all the restaurants. And really the mission, I think, of these events, and the point is really to elevate a lot of the small businesses and the restaurants, and really focus on the wonderful and beautiful things that the city has to offer. And that's really kind of what the publication does. So it's been so much fun, and I get to work with so many fun brands and doing different custom events for them throughout the year, and then different style sort of food events as well. And so it's been a wild ride where events have kind of morphed and evolved. And I've had moments where I thought maybe I'll be a wedding planner. I would watch like the movie The Wedding Planner with J-Lo, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I should go into weddings. And then I found, I'm like, oh, actually weddings is like a whole other sort of avenue. Not for me. I mean, God bless the wedding planners, because that's a whole other sort of thing. But it's events is a pretty special and very challenging and stressful but rewarding job. And so I've really, really loved it for the last, however many years now. You lose track after a while of doing it. But but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's amazing to have like so much experience and like kind of some different industries, and like to get to experience. I would imagine even like where you are now with the magazine, like each event is sort of a little different, and you get like such a variety. So I'm curious to know, what is something or a few somethings that you've sort of learned in your experience with event planning, and how do you sort of relate that to the smaller celebrations that you have at home with your family?
Sure. I feel like I've learned a lot. I mean, events is, it's so much of what you see, right? Like you see these events, and then whether it's a small scale or a large scale, there's always a mission or a point or an objective, regardless if it's at home and it's a birthday party, or something as, oh, we're trying to raise $1 million and have to throw a gala, and something like that. So there's always some sort of like point of why you're having an event, and you want every sort of gathering or event that you're doing to have some sort of thoughtfulness or to be special or creative in some way. So I think on the corporate side and on the personal side, you want them to be memorable, whether it's something we're planning for our kids. And it doesn't need to be something that you're spending thousands of dollars on, but what can you do to make it memorable and something that they remember? And especially kids, they remember kind of the small things. And then even at some of these large scale galas, you would think that they remember if there was like a high profile person that attended the event, or if it was, oh, the linens that we have to have of this color. Those are not the things. And even weddings, we spend so much time frantically running around and spending all this money on making sure that we have all of these sort of details. But it just comes down to, I think, what is that memorable experience, and the people, who are the people that are filling that room, whether it's for an inspiring mission or it's to celebrate someone's milestone or birthday or whatever, your puppy turning 1. I mean, people are celebrating everything, or they should be. And so I think just staying grounded with like remembering, why are you having the event? Why are you having the wedding? If you stay true to that reason, I think that you'll always feel like it was a success, because people feel that and they see that, and that's kind of the takeaway that they've had. And I feel like that's something that I've just kind of kept in mind and continue, whether it's for a client or for a friend or at work. Like, how can we really be thoughtful about this and stay true to the core mission of whatever it is that we're planning.
I love that. Isn't there like some sort of quote or something that's like, people don't remember like what you did, they remember how you made them feel, or something like that? But I relate that to like events, where it's more about like the feeling and the overall vibe of an event than the actual particulars of, like you said, like the colors or something like that. So obviously there's a lot of details that go into creating that atmosphere, but I think at the end, like that's the thing to focus on, is like the feeling you want people to have.
And there are so many details and the logistics and all of those things that go into it. But I think if you are just kind of curating this welcoming environment, joyful environment, and I feel like the way you do that is through, what is the color in the room? So we talk so much as event professionals about lighting, and because that like creates so much feeling. And then, it's all about the sights and sounds, right? So what do you see when you walk in? And then what do you hear? Like the music, and that really, I think, pushes kind of that feeling and starts that experience like from the get-go. So those are the things that I always try to like stay focused on, and not try, not get too caught up in too many of the other details, or you go down a rabbit hole of so many things and you're like, oh my God, why are we doing this? So
yeah. I could see that. All right. So what would you say is like your favorite thing about putting together an event? Because I'm assuming there's some things you probably enjoy more than others.
Yeah. So, this might come as like a shocking statement, but I actually sometimes don't think that I am always like the best event planner, because I'm like, oh my God, there's so many logistics, and I am not the logistical wizard that is, looking at every square inch or detail. I am on the very like opposite side, the creative concepting side. So the creative concepting and figuring out how to make that moment differentiate from all the other sort of events that are going on, in the city or in someone else's life, is something that I love the most. Are the creative elements of really, kind of finding that mission, and then really the people too. I really love bringing people together. I am so focused on, trying to connect and create as many relationships as possible, and then just connecting as many people as possible. And so I think there's a huge relationship piece to the industry that I absolutely love. I feel like all I do is ask for favors. I'm always on the phone. I'm like, hey, do you have this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to come sing at this event? Do you know a juggler? Can you call your uncle and ask your friend? I mean, I feel like I'm always doing something. I feel like I owe a million people a million different things, because they've helped me out so much. And then the vendors, I mean, they're the real magic behind the event, that are coming in and putting in all of that work. And so I feel like I've worked with so many of them on so many events. They're like my friends. So, that's also something that I really, really love. I've been really fortunate being in Boston. There's so many wonderful people and vendors and people that come together to celebrate and to put these things on. And there's so many talented people. It's so fun to work with other creative minded folks too. So a lot of things that I love. And then the logistics stuff, I usually have a wonderful right-hand partner that's managing some of those things for us too.
It's good. We all need someone to help us with the things we don't enjoy as much, or maybe aren't as skilled at.
Yeah, it's important to
Like,
know your strengths and
yes.
important to know where you need some support. And so,
Use that
yeah,
network.
that's right.
That is really
Perfect.
cool. Well, it is so fun to hear about you working on these events, bringing people in, making the magic happen. I'm also really excited to talk about a certain Yeti, a confetti Yeti named Betty. I've got my
Yeah.
copy of the book here, and I would love for you to tell us more about Betty and give us kind of the basics of her story for maybe some people who don't know her story yet.
Sure. So, Betty the Confetti Yeti is something that has brought me so much joy. And a lot of people have asked, where did you get this idea? And have you always wanted to, publish a book? And it's so funny. Growing up, I always loved to read. I was an avid Babysitters Club reader. I even met I met Ann M. Martin. Okay, so I met her at the
Oh.
mall. Yep, met Ann M. Martin. So I loved reading when I was a kid, and I just got so connected to characters. And when I would say now it's been like 8 or 9 years ago, I was having a conversation with my mom over coffee, and we were talking about school and high school. And she said, look how far you've come, Lindsay, like with the events and all you're doing. And we were making jokes because growing up, I was never great at much. I wasn't like great at sports and choir or like, I felt like I was definitely the kid that was just trying to find my way in something that would stick. And I didn't really fit in any of those pockets.
Mhm.
And so I was talking to my mom about that. And I said, it's too bad that there wasn't a party planning sort of class or course or something like that, while I was
Yeah.
in school where I could have, done different things that because I think I've always loved crafting and there was some of that, but we were just kind of joking about it.
Mhm.
And I had said, there should be a book about party planning, a children's book. And my mom said, Lindsay, she said, you need to write that. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to write a children's book and it's going to be a character that loves to plan parties. And so that was kind of where that started. And then I was so excited about it. I told so many people about it before even writing anything down on paper. And I felt like by doing that, it kind of held me accountable.
Yes.
So then people were like, Lindsay, how's that book? And I'm like, you know what? I haven't written it yet, but it's going to come and it's going to happen. And so I spent a good, at least 6 months just talking about it. And then it was funny when I sat down to write down the manuscript because I didn't even know where to begin. I kind of was at my computer and I thought, okay, well, how do you do this? And it's like, you just have to start. So I think I literally typed hello. I wrote just basic words. And I thought, okay, so take a step back. And I kind of really thought who is this character? Who do I want her to be? Is it a girl? Is it a guy? Is it, all of those sort of things. And the more I started thinking about it and writing it down on paper, the more I realized there was this whole creative outlet that I never even had thought about because I had been so focused on events and I was well into my career with that. I thought it was I found this whole other outlet where I got to explore and be creative and create something that was totally true to, what I believed and what I wanted people to hear. And it was so much fun. So I spent some time writing the manuscript and then spent a lot of time, learning about publishing. There are so many paths today of how people can get published, whether that is through self-publishing, traditional publishing, hybrid publishing. There's a lot of different avenues. And I started down the traditional path and I was very focused and thought I'm going to get a traditional publisher. And I just got impatient and realized after a couple of years, after learning as much as I possibly could, I decided I am just going to publish it myself. And so I was really fortunate to pair up with Advocate Art, who had a wonderful illustrator. My illustrator is Julia Gorkina, and she is based in Belgium. And it was just wonderful. So I spent a lot of time working with them on it and working with Julia and I ultimately decided to take it from being a girl to being a Yeti. And I decided to do that just because I thought for kids, maybe a mythical sort of creature like a mermaid or a unicorn, they get so drawn to that, could be really fun, and she could be really cute and have a party belt and all of those things. And, boys, girls, parents, everyone loves Yetis. So I thought, let's bring a Yeti into the mix. They haven't gotten as much attention as like the popular unicorns and things like that. And so when I was doing that, I don't know if it's because I decided she was going to be a Yeti first, and then I decided to name her Betty. So that's kind of where that came from. And it just kind of came together through that. And it was just really important for me too, to, kind of stay focused on creating a story that talked about celebrating everything, all of the little moments. I think as we had talked about, there's celebrations and events have just gotten so out of hand a little bit. I feel like they are so big and everyone's trying to outdo somebody else. And again, like just reminding everybody and kind of showing to celebrate the small moments and the little things is just as important. So you have birthdays and holidays, but celebrating a new neighbor and celebrating a season and celebrating, there's a part in the book where the grandfather had hip surgery. So they, they threw a party for that. So those are things that I just wanted to remind, families to celebrate. And if there's ways to do that through, decorations and things like that, can spread joy, I thought that could be really fun. And so I spent a lot of time on it and found some really wonderful people to kind of help pull the project together. And it took a really, really long time from start to finish, like 8 years. I had twins in the mix, so I didn't even have kids. I didn't even have kids when I first thought of doing it. So, and she finally came out at the end of 2022, and it's just been so much fun. And you guys have seen this through your own children's book. And, we've talked, I know, so many times just about our own paths and have helped each other out with different ideas and thoughts and vendors and people. And I've just met so many wonderful people, and visiting the schools and hearing the questions of people asking about your character, a character that you thought of that they love and that has brought so much joy. And it really has been such an amazing experience. And I decided that I would make it a series. So I'm really excited. I know. So I have the next book in the making it a series, so it's almost done. So
it's happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can share with you guys, the series is going to be retitled as The Confetti Yeti. And it's Confetti Yeti Plans a Birthday Surprise. So top secret info, but Betty will be planning a surprise birthday party for her teacher. So it's a lot of fun.
Super fun.
That is so fun. I feel like we have the inside scoop, Jessica.
I totally have the inside scoop.
The confetti.
How
411.
Yes. I love it. So in your first book, talks about sometimes parties don't go exactly as planned. Has this ever happened to you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Like every single event I feel like I've planned. And I'm not kidding. Every single one. The most random thing. It's like the most random, crazy things that you would never expect to happen. And I almost now kind of like brace myself because it's like, okay, what's going to happen this time? And they always end up working out. But just recently we had the Best of Boston. And it was this year I picked a venue that was inside because as an event planner, we like to have control over a lot of things. And the weather is something that unfortunately we really can't control. So I thought we'll get ahead of it. And I will have this event this year inside because last year we were outdoors for part of it and it was like 150 degrees and it was so hot. So we moved the event inside at an indoor large music hall and it was monsooning outside. And I thought to myself, I gave myself a little pat on the back and, I thought we're doing so great here. Thank goodness that we made the right call to have this event inside. And it was the day before the event and we were taking the day to set up. And I was sitting in the back room and someone let me know, Lindsay, the venue is starting to flood. And I said, where? Like, where is this flood? And they said, it's everywhere. And so I ran out to the main area, and we had like 2 to 3 inches of water all over, like over 5,000 square feet of space. And there were materials that were on the ground, and I like just kind of stood there and looked at it and thought, well, this is a problem. And it was because there was a pipe that burst down the street, and it made water come up through the drains. Like the drains just were essentially not working. And it was a huge problem. And people wanted to cancel the event. They want all these different things came up, and they couldn't find a remediation team to come out. So I just worked those connections and got on the phone and begged and pleaded, and we were able to get somebody out, and it took like 6 hours by the time they came. And again, this comes down to just being, your vendors are your people, and to treat them so, as well as you can, because you need them. Mm-hmm. And you really do. And people worked around the clock all night, because it was 5 p.m. by the time they finished, and they were miraculously able to clear up the space and to sanitize, and then they were able to set up the event, and we were able to move on. But it was quite the derail during the event. So I would say that was the most recent, sort of catastrophe that we managed. And
we're still working.
Yeah,
through
I think.
it.
Yeah, we all have some PTSD from that. But I feel like there's you always just want the events to be perfect, and you spend so much time, and whether it's, especially for a wedding where you really feel the pressure, because you should only have one. It's like your one wedding, and you just want all of these things to go right. But at the end of the day, I think if you have the right people and the right team, whether that is your family, your friends, vendors, whoever that might be, I think you're always going to be okay. And the little things that I think can go wrong are things that people typically, won't notice. Or again, if it's something as big as like a flood, you call the right people to come in, and if you treat them right, hopefully they'll be able to help you. And everyone's just trying to do the best that they can. So nothing is ever perfect. And I think, people just need to go with that. And I think that's what makes great stories and good memories too. So
yes, it actually brings up memories from Cliff and my wedding. So we always wanted to have like a more laid back wedding, right? Like it wasn't going to be like this big traditional thing. From the start, it was going to be non-traditional. We had a carnival theme at a carousel museum, but even though we did a lot of it ourselves, and we wanted like the pressure to be off, like we didn't do wedding parties or anything like that, we had to like beg them. So it was in an old building, right? It's this old carousel museum, and it's on the 2nd floor, and we got married in August. So there isn't air conditioning. So we like literally like paid extra when we signed the venue. We're like, can we bring in like outdoor air conditioners? Like we'll set them up, like put them in the windows and stuff, and like back and forth. I don't know. And then finally they're like, well, we're gonna have to charge you extra for the electricity. We're like, that's fine. Like we'll do it. Set them up the night before, had them running all night, literally like, I don't know, 30 minutes before everyone was supposed to get there, a fuse blew, and like air conditioning stopped, and it was so hot, like it just like immediately heated up like the whole place again, and like everyone's sweating. We're trying, and because it's an old building, they kept telling us like they had to call some special person to come look at it, and it was like this whole like dramatic thing. And finally my stepdad was like, he's like, a utilities guy, so he was like, I can just like do it. And he's like, finally he just like went and like flipped the switch and did whatever, and it like went back on.
That's when you need
but that
family, friends.
By that point it was too late. Like it was hot enough, like these air conditioners weren't going to do a darn thing. So it's like 90 degrees, everyone is like sweating. But to this day we still have family who's like, this was the most fun party we had ever been to. Like we had balloon animals and like food trucks and stuff like that, and like people still, like had an amazing time. And so But it is like, that's the one memory that like sticks in my mind. It's like, oh, the air conditioning.
Yes.
So I always tell Cliff to this day, like if we had to do it over again, I would totally elope. But I also feel like I can say that because like we had the wedding. So, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you
always
had
those
those. So
things.
see, I say that too. I think it was pretty amazing. I think during COVID there were so many people that got married and had these celebrations just with kind of, whether it was just each other, because I mean at the end of the day you're getting married.
Right.
It is
That's the
about
point.
the
Like,
two
yeah.
of you.
If that happens,
that is what
that's
it's about.
all.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
what the point of like all of that is. But it really, I think, made people stop and think, and they said that they were just some of the most special celebrations that they had because you weren't really able to invite thousands of people, hundreds of people to gather, and you didn't have to worry about my parents were passing invites out like candy. They were inviting everybody to our wedding. So we had like hundreds of people. I'm like, who is this guy? And my dad's like,
Yep.
he was on that cruise we were on like 10 years ago. And he always said he'd love to see you guys get married. And it's like, who is this?
Here he is.
So I feel like keeping things small and to the point is kind of the direction of where I see celebrations and things like that going anyways.
For sure. And that's why I think it's like so important. And even in the book, the lesson that Betty learns that, the magic of a celebration isn't the confetti, it's having others to celebrate with, is so important. And I want to know, who are your favorite people to celebrate with?
I love celebrating with, my family, like my husband and boys. And I'm really fortunate that I have my own family. I'm the oldest of 4. So, I have all of my siblings and my parents. And when we all get together to celebrate, it is just the best. We just had my mom's 70th birthday this past summer.
Oh.
She did not want a party and I made her have one.
Too bad.
And I said,
She has to expect it though. Like, you're
I said, have you,
Comes with the territory.
she was like, oh, I don't think we need to do anything. I go, Mom, you're turning, have you met your daughter? I said, we have to do something. So, I love celebrating, with all my siblings and family and then my in-laws too. My husband's one of 3 and all of us, we all get along. So I feel like celebrating family is, the best. And then getting, I've been diving into the kid celebrations too, which are also just so fun because they get excited over, anything, which is also great. But yeah, so really family is just kind of at the heart of everything for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's so sweet. One of Betty's signatures is a confetti Yeti party belt, which we obviously love. What are your party belt must-haves?
Oh my gosh, what a question. So I will say the party belt was something that, that I worked on with Yulia because I like kind of envisioned it at first as like a fanny pack, and then it evolved into this thing. And before I came across the confetti bar, I had emergency confetti as part of like the story and on the belt. And when I saw you guys had that product, I thought, this is crazy. They sell emergency, they get it. And so, obviously confetti, I feel like I would always have like, it's confetti, scissors, tape. It's all kind of that like tool belt, right? Of different things. Balloons. I think balloons can immediately like fix anything. And then some sort of small stereo, to have some music and a walkie-talkie to call in for backup, for help, for anything. Would be kind of like what's on my party belt, and maybe I don't know, maybe like an extra pair of sneakers or something like that. So you're always ready, like always have something to run in.
Shoes
Totally, the comfy shoes are critical, and I have made that mistake so many times.
Yes. I need to assemble my own party belt.
Yes.
Take some of what you just mentioned. Yes.
We do. There's been a couple people I've talked to that, want to make a party belt. And so I think we have one of those coming out maybe in a couple of of months and a lot of different sort of
Super
fun products and things. But the party
Okay.
belt is the new tool
I
belt.
love it.
So
I love
Yes.
everyone's got to get ready.
I would have mini disco balls as part of mine. I know that.
100%, Jessica. That is so you. Yes, disco balls,
Obviously.
a must.
Need
Yes,
it.
love it. Yeah, see, I'm boring. I'm like, I'll have scissors and tape.
No,
and
you definitely
yeah.
need those
You need those
things. We
too.
have those things too.
Yeah,
We'll just add some disco
Yes.
balls to it.
Love it.
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay, now if you would be willing to indulge us, we have our favorite part of having a visitor here in Confetti Land, which we have dubbed our super silly segment, which means just for fun, we're going to ask you a few kind of random or rapid fire questions that are ridiculous, but the idea is not to think about it too much and to just sort of give us your unfiltered thoughts.
Oh my gosh,
fun.
guys! You know I overthink. I overthink everything.
Oh,
Okay, I'm ready.
We believe in
I
you.
do too, but this is gonna be fun.
Ready.
Okay,
Okay,
here
I'm
we
ready.
go. All right.
Okay, go.
If a squirrel could talk, do you think it would have a really high voice or a really low voice?
A high voice.
I agree. I have to agree.
Yeah, same.
How? But I paused because I'm like, how funny? It would be funnier. It would be funnier
True.
if it was a low voice. It would be funnier if it was a low voice.
I do
It would
agree.
be.
We'll have to get Cliff to try out.
Yeah,
some different
have him do a
voices for
voiceover
us,
of
and
something,
we'll have to,
for
we'll have
sure.
to, like, vote on it.
100%. Yeah.
If you could concoct a new ice cream flavor, what would be in it?
Oh, that's a good question. A new ice cream flavor would be, I'm a big fan of like anything like peanut butter, but I love something with
Mhm.
color. That's the problem with peanut butter. It's not real pretty.
Yeah.
It's not colorful. So it would
Yeah.
be colored peanut butter that is broken up into little
Ooh.
bits that, looks like confetti in like, vanilla ice cream. I'll keep it simple.
Mhm.
So
Classic.
yeah.
I like it.
Like a funfetti peanut butter. I like, yeah.
Funfetti
I need
peanut
this to
butter.
happen.
Yeah. So we need to bring some more color into some of those things, but
Agreed.
in some sort of safe way.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
I agree.
No. I don't think it is. And I say that because when I ask my kids if they want, they're two different things. Do you want a peanut butter sandwich or do you want a hot dog? It's like very two different things in my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, do you think that Jack could have fit on the piece of wood with Rose at the end of the Titanic? That was hard for me to say.
So I will tell you, I've had conversations about this because I don't think so. I mean, no, I don't think he could have fit. Like they would have both gone down. They would have both gone down. And yeah, I mean, he put her on there. I mean, I don't know. She was pretty relaxed. So see, this is like the overthinker in me that she didn't even, I guess she didn't even really try. She wasn't even like, what, let's try to have you come up here. It was like, she's up there. She's not, but then she was like, I'll never let go. And then she let go.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of like a see you later. But I don't know. I mean, that was a tough moment, but I don't know. They couldn't both get on there. They would have sunk and then they both would have been gone. So, I think in the end it worked out for her. But I don't know. But it definitely raises some questions for sure.
For the record, I think that he could have.
I want to believe that he could have.
You know what, Alexis? I'm not surprised.
I want to believe that he could have. I don't know that he really could have, but I want to believe it really, really bad.
No, I don't. Well, if you believe that he could fit on, if you believe that, then that just makes it look like she really screwed up. Like, I want to believe that there was no way he could get on it, and that was what was supposed to happen.
Okay, that's good perspective. I haven't thought about it that way before.
A little bit. Maybe I'm not as romantic as I thought I was. She should have tried. Anyway.
Should have tried. I mean, at least pretend. At least pretend.
Like, you sure you don't want to hop up here? Like, you good? Are you good in there?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was a pretty quick thing.
I'll never let go. I promise.
If you had to eat a crayon, what color would you pick?
Probably pink. Nope. I change it. Yellow. I would do yellow for sure. Yellow. It's more like
Why the
lemony.
switch? Oh, lemony. Okay.
Yeah, citrus. I have earrings right now that are like yellow lemon. So yeah, I'm drawn to yellow.
Good one.
I like it.
Good one. I feel like it's very predictable, but I would choose the mac and cheese one in the hopes it would actually taste like mac and cheese.
Oh my God. So see,
I
you
don't
have
think
like
it
real
would. I
flavors.
don't
I'm like
think it
just sticking
would.
with I'm just sticking with
Truly.
are they now named as like things like that? Are they
I don't know
like
if they still have
named
it.
as
I know
flavors?
they did at one point have one that was macaroni and cheese.
Yeah?
Like, that was the
Oh
crayon.
my gosh. Oh wow.
I don't think it actually
I didn't
tastes
even
like
think
it,
about
but
that.
I would.
Interesting.
Might.
Yeah. That's funny. I was gonna say pink too. Do you prefer a center or corner piece of a brownie?
The center. For sure. Like all four corners to kind of be a perfect square. I'm pretty symmetrical. When you take a corner, it's like a little, it's the first one to kind of be easy to grab, but I'm definitely the weirdo that will like just kind of pull out the one in the middle. And it's like, who would do that? And it's like, that's me. So
I like me a crispy edge. I'm not gonna lie. I like the crispy edge with like the soft center. Have you ever seen that brownie pan that like is like kind of like an S shape, so that every piece is like
Yes.
an edge piece? Lindsay,
oh
that's
my
not
gosh,
that's not a
no, but
brownie
what a
pan for
great
you.
idea. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I mean, I just like brownies. So,
I'll take it anyway. It comes.
I really need a brownie now. Gosh.
I know.
think
I have
some
too many food.
brownie
Okay,
ice
the next
cream
one's
in
a
the
food one
freezer.
too. I must have been hungry because there's a lot of food questions here. All right. Speaking of, is cereal soup?
no. I say no. My gosh.
But like, I mean, okay, but even though yes, it's like, okay, you don't call it soup, but what is soup? It's like liquid with stuff in it. So that's what cereal is. So it could.
That is true. I guess when I hear of soup, I think of something that is warm and hot. Now, obviously, there's like cold, soups out there and stuff like that. But that's the first thing that I think of. And soup is like such a winter thing. I don't know. So to me, it's like kind of the temperature, but
Okay.
how I classify that.
Okay. Going back to your party belt. Not really, but talking about shoes now. If you were a shoe, would you be the right or the left shoe?
left,
so I'm left-handed.
Oh.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Fun fact.
Okay.
Mhm.
Love that.
Love it. Okay, last question. If Betty the Confetti Yeti and Confetti Claus were to co-host a party, what should it be for?
Oh my gosh, you guys, it would be a rager. It would be so much fun. They would have to celebrate the first snowfall. I feel like it would be like it's like the first start of the holiday season, or of like it's like a new season, holiday season. I think that like they would be great to like come together. The first snowfall for sure. Yeah.
I envision having one of those like inflatable igloos that like has the fan in it, but there would just be colorful confetti in the igloo, like a snow.
Oh,
a giant
100%.
snow
I just wanted to snow confetti. So it's like just that's like a thing. Maybe that's in like confetti land where that's all it is.
It comes down and then it's just piles of it instead of like, and then you sled down it. Oh my God. I want to live in that world.
Same, please.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for indulging us. Just a little fun to have. And just thank you for joining us here in Confetti Land. It was a blast to have you.
Yes.
We just kind of want to know, what is your single best event planning tip that we can leave everybody listening here with today as their one little takeaway?
A single event planning tip. don't forget why you're planning the event. Like, stay focused on what the objective is. And if you just kind of stay focused on what that is, I don't think you'll ever get too lost or too bogged down in any of the sort of details or chaos that can come with events. So just remember why you're doing it, and you'll be just fine.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, where and how can our confetti people connect with you? Because obviously, if they don't already know about you, they're going to want to.
I love connecting with other people, so they can connect with me through social media. I'm at confetti-Cadigan, or they can go visit me at theconfettiyeti.com and shoot me an email at celebrate@theconfettiyeti.com. So lots of different ways to connect, and I love hearing from everybody.
Yes, that's everybody's homework. Go give Lindsay a follow and connect with her and all the confetti goodness that is to come, because it sounds like it is just the beginning of Betty and her adventures. So everyone's going to want to follow along with that. Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much. Always so great to see you guys and to spend time chatting. And one of these days, Jess, I'm going to have to come to Confetti Land in Connecticut and visit you.
I know. We're so close, yet we have not actually.
Isn't that weird?
To go in person.
It's so crazy we haven't met in person.
We're going to make it happen.
Yeah. This is the year.
It is. Let me know all of the events that are happening. We're going to do it. Okay. As our final little send-off, we all have our confetti poppers. So I'm going to give us a 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go. Okay. Are we ready?
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, my lid is on. Sorry. I'm not ready.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Yes. Everyone's good to go. 1,
ready.
2, 3. Always a party when that happens.
Yes. So fun.
Thank you so much again, and we can't wait to follow all of Betty's adventures as well as your own.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a great night. Stay in touch.
All right. Bye.
Whew, that was a great adventure, wasn't it? But look at this view. It's amazing. All right, get your skis on. Let's slide on down. Here we go! Meet you at the bottom.
For more fun, join us on the socials at The Confetti Bar. To receive free inspiration delivered to your inbox, you can also join the Confetti Club at theconfettibar.com/join. Thanks for visiting!
Tell us, Rose.
It's been 84 years.
It's okay, just try to remember anything at all.
Do you want to hear this or not, Mr. Lovett?